this is an example of the 20th century sports. It's just tennis. So from the beginning of the 20th century to the 21st century, technology in sport has changed a lot since then, especially in well-known sports such as football, rugby, tennis, etc. And in the mid 20th century, tennis has had a big change in technology, especially with the rackets they use. So people started to use metal rackets to make them a lot more lighter, and a lot more over wood to make them more lighter and powerful. Nowadays players use smart rackets with little chips in them to test their top spin, so technology, top spin, power, speed, and now used in time for Wimbledon. So the history of boxing and development. So boxing, so how's it developed into modern day today? So boxing dates back to the Egypt around 3000 BC, so which stands for before Christ. This sport was introduced to the ancient Olympic Games in Greece by the Greeks in the late 7th century BC. Again stands for before Christ, when soft leather thongs were used to bind boxers' hands and forearms for protection. In the ancient Rome, boxers were often wore seaters or metal studded leather covering their hands whilst they're fighting, which they aimed to even kill their opponents, but sometimes this was part of gladiatorial spectacles. The sport declined in popularity after the fall of the Roman Empire. Fighters would compete until one of them was conceded defeat and could no longer continue the fight due to the injury, or how serious the injury actually was. There were no weight divisions then, so you could be up against a person who's 2 times taller than you. Say if you were 6'5" and the other one was 5'5", exactly a foot up taller, and weight sizes as well. And they could face anyone, and obviously the bigger one would understandably they would be dominating the other opponent. Whereas current boxers nowadays would be put into weight divisions. This means that the fights will be a lot more fair when coming up against opponents in the same weight class, and these weight classes start from bantamweight, which is the lightest division, to super heavyweight, which is for the heavy opponents. So more history of boxing. Boxing in the early 16th century, England became a lot more popular and brutal. Then it would be known as bare knuckle fighting, which they would just use their bone and skin for dominating their opponents. Here competitors would refer to as prize winners then, so they'll be doing it for money, basically, as it's known for today, but today it's more known for popularity reasons. Coming up to the 19th century, more rules and regulations were introduced to make the fights a lot more safe and fair, and less life-threatening also. This is when boxing gloves were introduced. Originally, boxing gloves were commonly practiced for use of blocking punches and not striking your opponents. A lot of rules and regulations a lot of these original rules and regulations are still used in today's boxing. So some of these rules is forbidden, such as some of these are still present. So no headbutting, eye gouging, kicking, hitting an opponent when they're down, holding the ropes, or even biting. So, for example, there was a fighter called Mike Tyson. He bit someone's ear off through frustration, which shows that boxing can escalate a lot. So there are many boxing organisations such as WBA, IBF, WBO, etc. But the most popular one, I would say, and it's now being used today around the world, is the WBC, which stands for the World Boxing Council, and it was created in 14th of February 1963 in Mexico City. It was originally formed by the 11 countries, which are still in the 160 countries which are used around the world today. These were USA, UK, France, Mexico, Argentina, Brazil, Puerto Rico, Panama, Chile, Venezuela, and the Philippines. But now the organisation is again used over 160 countries around the world. And as you can see on the actual belt, it shows all the countries that use this organisation in their boxing. And to finish off, these are all my references that I've used. So I've used 5, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And yeah, thanks for listening.